Hi guys, welcome to Nathbet week 3. A little bit unlucky last week, just looking back on the bets. Double, treble and fourfold, only one game off, all three of them, but we're getting very, very close. It literally is the odd goal here or there that's stopping us really make some big profits. Hopefully this is the week and we'll get the double, treble and fourfold up after our really good, really positive week 1. Difficult games this week, I'm not going to lie to you again. It was difficult on 2, it's difficult on 3. Some weeks are easier to predict than others, but that means that we've got some very, very big prices this week in the double, treble and fourfold, and prices that I'm confident could well come in. The Capital One was very interesting to see plenty of teams in midweek action, what teams they played, what scores, whether they went to 90 minutes, extra time or penalties. All has plenty of significance when I'm come to tipping some of the games this weekend. So without further ado, let me go straight into the safe double. 2 games that have been very much affected by Capital One Cup action in the week. Brighton is the first team that we're going to back to win. At home, they play Millwall. Now, Brighton have started the season pretty well. You can remember that they had a very, very good run last season. Millwall have started the season very poorly indeed, and they had a 2-1 extra time defeat to Nottingham Forest. Brighton are available at 4-5, which is a very nice price. Like I say, Millwall, heartbreaking extra time cup defeat. They've struggled. They've only got 1 point all season. I really don't fancy them going to Brighton and taking anything at all. I think Brighton are probably my very safest bet of the week, and we're going to put them in the double. We might see them later on as well, but for now we're going to put them in the double. Brighton 4-5 to beat Millwall. We're going to double that up with Oldham to beat Tranmere. Oldham had a very good 3-1 win against Port Vale last weekend. Played very well, goals from all over the park, very, very positive signs. They entertain a Tranmere side who have been shocking this season so far. They're not travelling well, they're not playing at home very well, and Oldham to be odds against at 20-19. You probably get even money with a lot of bookmakers, but mainly 20-19 is a very, very good price. Tranmere, extra time, penalties, they lost to Nottingham Forest, they lost to Bolton. They're going to be very tired. They played a full strength side as well in that game. And I just don't think that they need going to Oldham and trying to get a result. I don't think they will. I'm going to back Oldham and Brighton in the double. That gives us a 2.6-1 double. That is with Sky Bet and Ladbrokes. On to the treble. Big game of the weekend. Liverpool versus Manchester United, the big derby. I say derby, it's the big rivalry over there. Sorry, Manchester City fans, but Liverpool and Manchester United are the big game in the north of England. I think it's going to be very much like the Manchester United-Chelsea game. 2 very good sides, and I think they're going to cancel each other out. I don't think it's going to be a particularly attractive game to watch, as these big games, I think a lot of big games really aren't particularly good after all this build-up, all this hype. There's going to be plenty more, but expect a 0-0, maybe a 1-1 scrappy affair. Obviously no Suarez for Liverpool. I might just give Liverpool the edge if he was available. He's not. But I expect a draw, and 2.5-1 for the draw is too good to turn down. 12-5 you might get in some places, but we're going to take them. Obviously Liverpool a little bit shaky against Notts County midweek. Manchester United definitely had the better of the game against Chelsea, but still a bit of a dour 0-0. So we're going to go with a draw on this occasion. Liverpool and Manchester United to draw. The other 2 games I'm going to predict in the treble are Middlesbrough. Now we're back to Middlesbrough to lose to Wigan. I thought it was a very tough game for them. They don't travel away particularly well, but they played very well. They had the better of that game, and they were unlucky to draw the game. Actually, in the end, that game ended up finishing 2-2. But they're back at home. They're back at the Riverside. I think there'll be too much for a Sheffield Wednesday side. Both teams were rested in midweek. They're already out the Capital One Cup in the early stages, but I think Middlesbrough will have too much for Sheffield Wednesday, and they are available odds against again 20-19, even money you might get 11-10 about Borough. So Liverpool Manchester United draw, Middlesbrough to win, and the third one, some people might not like this bet, and I'll tell you my reasons in a second, but I'm going to give West Brom another go to beat Swansea City at home. Now West Brom obviously have had problems. Most recently, Nicolas Anelka walking out the club saying he's quitting. Well, he's had a dramatic U-turn after the death of his close friend and agent last weekend. But to get him back and playing so quickly is a huge boost to the Baggies. And I just fancy them. I'm going to have another go at them to win, especially at home. Like I said, they're very, very strong. Really poor defeat on opening day against Southampton. But these are the games they should be winning against the Swansea City side, who haven't, they've lost both games so far this season. They're looking for their first points, and it won't help with a trip to Romania tonight, as I broadcast now. That's Thursday night in the Europa League. Obviously, they won easily in the first leg 5-1, so they have rested some of their players, but there are plenty going, and whether you like it or not, whether they start on the bench, whether they play 90 minutes, whether they don't play at all, just a trip to Romania and back on a Thursday when you're playing on the Sunday, it doesn't help teams. So I'm going to back West Brom 13-8. I think it's a very nice price. Liverpool, Man United to draw, Middlesbrough and West Brom to win gives us a big 16.8 to 1 treble. That's with Bet Victor. So a huge treble really this week, guys. 16.8 to 1 treble. A really good one, and one that could definitely come off. Finally, on to the fourfold. The other game, the big game, the North London derby, Arsenal against Spurs. Two great fixtures in the early season. Really looking forward to watch this one. Spurs obviously lost Gareth Bale, but they have signed some big names. Saying that, they're going to take some time to blend, to gel together, but they have got quality. You can't knock them for that. They've spent plenty of money in the process. Arsenal, every season, whether they lose the first game or the second game or they don't sign, everyone's so quick to write them off, and they've come back. They've done very well. Yes, they probably need 1 or 2 players. I'm sure they will get 1 or 2 new players before the end of the transfer deadline. But Spurs are a different proposition these days. It's going to be heated. It's going to be a difficult game for both sides. I expect goals. I think it could be a 2-2. It could be a high-scoring affair, but I do fancy a draw again. Big price, 27-10. So just a tad more than 2.5 to 1 for you guys. And we're going to put that in as the first bet in our fourfold. That is Arsenal and Spurs to draw. Second bet, and another big outsider, very nice price indeed, which is Sunderland. Now Sunderland are 19-10 to go to Crystal Palace and win. And Sunderland, obviously, they've got their problems, and they haven't started the season particularly well. However, they were 2-0 down in midweek as well. They were really struggling, came back to score 4 goals in the last 12, 13, 14 minutes. I'm sure Paulo Di Canio was very happy about that. But he got his big boys playing, most of them played, and they scored in the end, which is good signs. They are struggling in the Premier League, but if they're ever going to go somewhere and win, it's Crystal Palace. Now, they look like the whipping boys of this league. Very poor. Short on signings. Ian Holloway, they got knocked out the cup to Bristol City in midweek, and he's admitted that he needs signings sooner rather than later. Whether they come or not, they're going to come too soon for the weekend. He might maybe put 1 or 2 in there, hoping that they just hit the ground running, but I don't think that's the answer against Sunderland side. They're established, obviously, in the Premier League, and they are going to win games, and I fancy 19-10 is too big a price to turn down, nearly 2 to 1 to beat Crystal Palace away from home. We're going to back Sunderland to beat Crystal Palace. And the third game, again, many people might not like this, but there is method to the madness. I am going to back Newcastle, even though they're struggling. I'm going to back them to beat Fulham, even though they've got Darren Bent now and Berbatov up front. That's definitely a threatening attack. However, if it's not working for them, it can go sour. They're two very lazy players, and if it's not working for them, I just wonder if their heads go down a little bit too quickly in games. Now I'm going to back this result, which is Newcastle 15-13. However, that's on the pretense that Joseph Kabay does not get sold to Arsenal. If he does get sold to Arsenal this week, or he does in fact get sold anywhere else, do not back this game. Make this a treble. Don't make it a fourfold. But I really think he adds that much to Newcastle. You put Kabay in with Sissoko, or Sissoko, depends on how you want to pronounce it, and Ben Arfa, along with Cisse up front. I know that Remy's back. He could be on the bench as well this week. It's a very good side, but he is that important to them. I expect him to play, and if he does, I think that Newcastle are great value at 15-13. So we're going to back Newcastle to beat Fulham at 15-13, along with Arsenal Spurs draw, Sunderland away at Palace, and the bet of the week, the one that I said I might mention later on, and that was Brighton, who were also in a double. I'm going to back them in the fourfold as well. That's Brighton to beat Millwall. They're 4-5. So it's going to be a big one, guys. 38.4 to 1, nearly 40 to 1 on the fourfold this week. Big prices. We might be taking a little bit more risk than usual. However, I really think this is good value and plenty of chances of coming in. So 38.4 to 1. That's with Bet Victor and also Bet365. Now, if you've been watching our broadcast earlier on this week, the following week, and obviously week 1, you will have seen that we have asked our Twitter followers to type us in with a long shot each week, and the best one that we think worthy of putting on the site and recommending to all of you guys, we will do. And thank you very much to Chris Wiper this week. He has given us our long shot. We approve of it very much. We think it's got a very good chance of coming in at just over 100 to 1. So, like I say, if you've got a spare £1, £2, hey, if you're feeling crazy, an extra £5, get it on. Let's see what we can do. And like I say, I do like it. A lot this weekend, me and Pete do. But mainly the double, the treble, and the four. But let's hope that we can get Nathbet back to winning ways as soon as possible. Thank you very much for watching, guys. And I will see you. I'll be back. I say unfortunately, you know, someone's got to live in California, but I do fly out tomorrow, so the next one will be from California, guys. We've been great in England for the next 2 weeks, and hopefully I can bring some of that American sunshine to you guys this weekend. Have a great one, and I will see you very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.